Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. Also, speaking of which, there's a new reaction channel coming down the pipe that's going to blow all the other reaction channels, including this one, out of the water. It's from the big homie Slipknot Sean.
And we will slip into oblivion.
We will figure out what the name of that channel is going to be. But right now, dear listener, what you want to know is what song are Vin and Sori going to be reviewing. And I'm assuming since you clicked on the thumbnail, you already know. It's by the big homies from Black Sabbath. The name of the song is Children of the Grave.
Our DJ tonight is DJ Nick, and he is going to be bringing us through a stream of songs. We shall see what the theme is.
Yes,
the
sir.
first song, he doesn't have anything to be said, so we shall leave it at that.
And if you, dear listener, would like to be a DJ and you get your... Oh, by the way, if you guys want to know what Nick looks like, this is what DJ Nick looks like right there.
He even has that red eye.
That's right. Like the Terminator. Okay, boys, let's do this shit. Black Sabbath, Children of the Grave, DJ stream for DJ Nick. Let's go. Woo! 1971. Emphasizing the bass. What? What? Unbelievable.
Oh, that's creepy.
That's kind of spooky. Is he saying kill, kill, kill?
No, Children of the Grave.
Oh, Children of the Grave. Holy shit. Oh.
That's so creepy.
1971.
That seriously gave me chills.
1971,
this one
bro.
came out in 1971?
Yeah, 1971.
See, this is what makes them so great, is that they can put out a song that long ago and it doesn't sound that old.
I mean, Tasco said it best. It's basically, we've all copied Black Sabbath. All the riffs are just chopped up, sped up, or slowed down. Like everybody,
How
that
much
guy.
have you used in your stuff? Do you use a lot of it?
I'm certain that there is nothing that I've ever played that I think is good that didn't have some Tony Iommi genesis to it, because we're like 4th and 5th generation metalhead, so we're the inheritors of the inheritors of the inheritors of Black Sabbath. So all those guys, all the like heavy shit, like you can see here again, it's like prototypical for some real heavy riffing. And obviously that riff has been done a million times. It's what Ben complains about.
Speaking of Ben, I'm making sure he's not blocked here.
It's just crazy to me that, a song from 50 years ago, you can look at it and say, okay, this is where all your favorite bands.
Yeah.
This is where all your favorite bands got all their shit.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And then the middle part was like doomy. That's the other thing that's like blows me away. So like coming to this channel, it was amazing because I really thought like, oh, I know metal generally as a genre. Like we didn't know anything. And you get introduced to all these subgenres, sludge and all the rest of it, doom. And it's like, this dude had all these genres in his back pocket as he was inventing this style of music. It's just crazy. Like he had it all. So it's like, so an entire genre, sludge or doom, is related. It has been created on the back of this middle section.
Yeah.
Like it's just insane to me the amount of talent and creativity, and it's one of those things. There's always a debate, greatest of all time and all the rest of it. But one of the things for me about like the greatest of all time when it comes to art, it's like you have bands like Korn that like create new genres of metal. So like within metal, you have like a genre in the metal. So you've got new metal. And, there's all, if Ben was here, he'd be like, oh, Korn didn't invent new metal. They stole it from blah, blah, blah. But they popularized new metal. New metal was on the map because of Korn. Mm-hmm. I'll give it that. Same thing with Metallica and thrash. Metallica probably didn't invent thrash, but they were kind of the vanguard. They perfected it, whatever, popular, mainstreamed it. That is not what is happening with this guy. They invented the entire freaking genre itself. So if I'm saying Korn invented new metal and Metallica invented thrash, even if I were to say that, even if that were to be true, that is a subgenre within the concept of metal itself.
Right.
The man invented metal, and it's almost singular. Mm-hmm. It's almost completely, and of course I'm saying that because I'm a guitarist, and when I was listening to Slipknot as a kid, Jim was my favorite in the band, and obviously Korn Head was my favorite. I was always like attracted to the guitars. Which is interesting because new metal is mostly about the singer. Old school metal is usually about the guitarist, and the singing was kind of like incidental. But to find a guy, it's like TRS said, they're like ground zero metal. They're like, this is like boom, you landed and boom, it's metal. It's just crazy to me. I can't believe. Every single time some these guys come out. And it's and Tony Iommi's going and doing that shit. It always blows me away and I'm always like, how did this dude do this? Because it is so hard. Get yourself a guitar. Don't buy a crazy one, but just get yourself a guitar and learn a couple of songs, because some of the songs are like really easy. You can learn them in a day, and then try to play your own music, and you'll see like it's extremely difficult to come up with something like,
oh my gosh,
that cool. It's insane.
Yep.
Especially like trying to do it without being influenced by all the other bands that you've heard before.
When I first started learning to play the guitar, and I don't play anything to speak of. I don't even say that I play because I play so little. But I remember taking my guitar out, and we all were doing like lessons in college, and people were like creating new songs and stuff. And so I took my guitar out and I like created an extremely basic song, and it took me like a very long time to even come up with that. And that was when I realized I don't know if I don't have the gift for it, or if it's just I was trying too hard.
Is that the one that you did at the Bible study that one time?
No, those were never ones I wrote. So I did end up writing a couple of songs, and I had them in a bag with my journals from over the last few years when I was in college. Oh, God, I wish I had those journals. But anyway, it doesn't matter. They were all in the back of a vehicle that my parents had rented. We were taking a vacation, and we were in Philadelphia, and somebody smashed the window and stole everything from inside that SUV. And it really sucked because it had no monetary value. Like nothing in that bag was worth anything of value. I'm like, they probably opened that bag up and then dumped it somewhere. And all those journals, like hours and hours and hours of work, and the few songs that I had written, and my memory is not good enough to be able to keep track of those. So I lost all of it. But I keep thinking, well, maybe somebody's going to read the journals and get something out of it. Hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what do you mean? It's got to... If some of these village people find it, somebody would pay a hefty price for that shit, my guy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't even know how much is in there. Maybe people shouldn't read it. Anyway, moving right along. Yeah, they're revolutionary. And like I said, for me, I forget how old they are. And when I hear them, I'm not reminded.
1970. Yeah, this shit is crazy. 1971. Like, that is insane. That's insane. lyrically, the song is also pretty interesting because it took a turn, especially like toward the end, that I would have never expected, and just makes it even more ironic because, you know, I watched the behind the music of these guys one time, and they were like, you know, devil music, blah blah blah. You call your thing Black Sabbath, but look what he says at the end. So you children of the world, listen to what I say. If you want a better place to live in, spread the words today. Show the world that love is still alive and you must be brave, or your children of today are children of the grave. So.
Oh, or your children of today.
Or you children of today are
so.
going to be children of the grave. So if you don't learn to love and if you don't learn to spread a message of love, then you're going to be the children of the grave. It's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday about our sons inheriting war.
Yeah.
Where, you know, when I got to this country, everybody was talking about Vietnam and the bad word Vietnam, whatever. And now we've handed over, you know, the war on terror over to a younger generation. And so at some point, like, yeah, everybody complains. And especially as kids, like, this is a hell of a positive message, especially to kids. Because it's very in vogue for kids to blame their parents. Oh, our parents suck, yada, yada, yada. But that's not the message. The message is, listen, yeah, your parents might suck. There's a bad society out there, but you guys have to change it. Mm-hmm. And if you guys don't change it, you guys are going to be in the same situation that are like, that's like some wise, sage OG advice.
Yep. It's like you say, age does not change anything. It's not going to change you. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that.
Decisions and choices have to be made.
Yeah, it's wisdom. It's about wisdom, and you don't necessarily need to age to get wisdom. You can get wisdom from other people who've had that life experience. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's a very, very important thing to understand that. But he's dropping some serious, like, knowledge and serious, you know, somebody asked me, you know, why I'm a post-millennialist. So post-millennialists believe that the world is eventually going to get progressively better and essentially Christianized. And he was saying, why do you believe that? And, you know, there's lots of reasons I believe it biblically, but then there's little nuggets like this, like in a genre where it's supposedly devilish and evil and all the rest of it, you can see from the beginning that God's hand was here.
Right.
Like,
right.
You can't get much earlier in the history of metal. You can't get much earlier in the history of metal than Sabbath, and even in that in that kind of inception of this brand new genre, there's a positive message there, and it's a positive message to the youth. And so it's like, to me, it's almost like, damn, metal has always been misinterpreted right from the get-go.
I wonder why.
And then because we did that, and we refused to actually give the man a hearing, and we characterized him as a demon, then what ended up happening is you end up with bands like Vate, where dudes legitimately are demons.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, it's just very, very, very ironic. Like, that's what happens when you don't listen to people, man. It's like this shit becomes worse, you know, than you think it is. But it was just mind-boggling to me about, like, how positive the message ended on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then it had that creepy ending.
Yeah, and like,
it's a warning, that's for sure.
Yeah, revolution is in their minds. The children start to march against the world in which they have to live and all the hate that's in their hearts. They're tired of being pushed around, told what to do. Okay, so 1971, yeah, the folks were in full swing about the whole Vietnam situation, all that jazz. And so dudes were really, really upset about it, obviously, and the kids took to the streets. Like, that's the thing that's really weird to me. Like, there was a lot of talk about the millennial generation. Like, we're at the back end of the millennial generation, but, like, these kids are politically astute. They're engaged. They're plugged in. They're sophisticated. Mm-hmm. They're a lot more sophisticated than the previous generation. They're a lot more. I feel like the previous generation almost politically, societally speaking, like, just took the time off.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with that.
It like feels like that.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
And it feels like everybody kind of in our little generation came of age during 9/11, and so you kind of had no choice but to be politically involved. Then on the other side, these kids they're seeing their friends blown away by this, gun violence, all the rest of it. So
Right.
it's a weird thing where, like, nowadays, if a young person goes out and speaks out politically, they get mocked. Oh, you're trying to be woke. But then it's like, oh, the young kids are so disengaged. They don't know what they're doing. And it's like, it's really cool to see this is a really, really interesting song because he's not just blaming their kids. I mean, their parents. He's saying, you guys have to take the responsibility. And that's crazy. Must the world live in the shadow of atomic fear? Can they win the fight for peace, or will they disappear? Like, all that shit was in everybody's heads. You jump from Vietnam to the Cold War, which is basically the Cold War was that's the point of Vietnam, right? Was because, oh, they're commies and we have to stop the spread of communism, so let's go and kill a bunch of people we don't know. And then the Russians were supplying them with weapons and all that for obvious reasons. So there were just a lot of things happening in that time period, and we're on the other side of it now, so we know that we won the Cold War, whatever. But at those times, I mean, these guys thought they were going to get nuked. You know what I'm saying? Like on any given Sunday. So, all right. What do you get the song?
Probably like a 9.8.
This is a solid 9.9 for me. Very, 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 very good song. Very good song. I'm really, really... Man, how many songs from that record have we heard? That's got to be their first record, right? I don't know. I'm assuming it's just a regular self-titled record.
Here.
Master of Reality, 1971.
I don't think we heard any of these other songs.
Yeah. Lord of the World.
Oh, wait. After Forever?
I don't know. After Forever is the name of a band. So I don't know if that's why. By the way, shout out to the big homie John Lennon. It's his birthday today. Okay. You already rated the song. I rated the song. We shall return. Stay where you are if you're in YouTube land. If you're a regular square and you're doing it on regular YouTube, then you're gonna have to wait till 7 p.m. But if not, wait for 7 minutes. Another song is coming up. Shout out to the big homie Nick. There he is. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.